Welcome to another IMS Reality Help tutorial. This video will focus on broker tools. Keep in mind, I'm using an older Chicago database, but as a member, you will have an up-to-date database for the MLS you required. Also, when viewing the information, keep in mind that none of this is up to date on agents or offices and is not reflective of their current totals. So let's talk about broker tools. The first item is annual number of agents. This will tell you the annual number of agents involved in selling of homes on a monthly basis. First, let's do a filter. We'll filter by a zip code. In this case, let's choose 60010 and we'll add it to our search. So now, when you click on annual number of agents, a graph will generate showing you the number of agents that participated in sales in any given month. Now, astute recruiters may notice that when you go to the units sold graph, for a 12-month time frame, we can see a dramatic increase in sales between February 2014 and March 2014, from 27 units to 61 units. Now, you will want to know who those agents were responsible for that sharp increase. So now we can go to Reports, to our combined agents, and go into your search and enter those dates. So February the 1st, 2014 to March 31st, 2014, with our zip code still in there, finish your search, and now you have the list of agents who were responsible for those 60 units and that sharp increase. You can effectively do your recruiting from a group of agents that are on the rise. We're going to clear our search now. And talk about the next item in broker tools, agent migration. Agent migration will show you what agents have left one office and gone to another. It will show you the date they left and where they went. Not only is it just information as to maybe you've lost an agent and you wonder where they're headed. You'll find them in here, and all of these headings are sortable so that if you clicked on agent, it would alphabetize them so you can easily find your own agent. Now, recruiters can use this agent migration to recruit an awesome recruit. Sometimes an agent has left one office and headed to another, and when they get there, they realize they've made a mistake. I don't like it here, I don't like the people, the broker, whatever the issue is, but they now realize they can't move backwards and they're kind of stuck. So using the recruiting based on your migration makes perfect sense. Take a look at someone like John Murray. At this time, back in August of 2014, John left Coldwell Banker and he headed to Key Realty. Now, usually I would say give an agent a couple of months at their new office. Then you can give them a call So you scroll back over, click on John, and you'll have all his information. You can now call John and say, "Hey John, I realized you just moved to Coldwell Banker a couple months ago. How are things there? If you're not enjoying yourself, I would love to talk with you. Come in and sit down." You can also tell him information that you know about him. John, did you know you were selling homes 19% faster than the average agent? Information that he likely doesn't know and his broker likely hasn't told him. So using migration, you're able to find an awesome recruit who made a mistake and now needs to rectify it in your favor. We're going to clear our search again. And we're going to talk about the next item under Broker Tools. Migration by office. This will simply give you a list of what offices have lost and gained agents. Now, if you don't see the offices that you want to see in this list, you're able to go into the market share setup to the bottom, and this is where you can wipe out the ones you don't want to see, enter the ones you do want to see, call it something, save it. It will show up down here, and it will be reflective in your migration by office chart. It will then have the ones that you did want to see. But it's simply a chart that you can see who has lost and gained how many agents in the last 12 months, or however you want to see it. Our next item in Broker Tools is agent retention. Working with your agents will keep them happy. Happy agents don't leave you. So, agent retention is a way for you to sit down and help your agents focus on setting goals. It's proven that goals will definitely work. So what you'll do is sit down with Mark Frisco, and you'll be able to see what he's actually done in the last 6 months. And now you can predict what you'd like him to do for the next 6 months. So you'll enter your goals for Mark. Let's say you can do 3. Let's say in November you can do 6, and so on. Then, in another 6 months, you'll sit down with Mark again, and what you'll see is what you've planned out and what he actually did, the percentages, the plus or minus that he either accomplished or didn't accomplish his goals, and so on. You'll also be able to do the same for his dollar values. You can then send him notes. "Mark, I'm impressed with how prepared you always are. Don't forget, if you need help putting materials together, to ask Helen and she'll help you." Whatever your notes are, you can then email this to Mark so that he's fully aware of what he's got ahead of him, the goals that you've both set, and he can work towards accomplishing them. Now, once you've set up a name and you saved it, it will all be saved in your saved agent drop list. So every time you need to sit down with an agent, their information will be there. You'll simply click on that name, and now you'll sit down with Mary, and all of her information will be accurate. Agent retention absolutely works to keep your agents happy. When they feel that their broker's involved or their manager's involved in their careers, they will stay. Simple as that. Let's continue to look at Broker Tools. The next item is Team Report. Your team report allows you to enter the names of team members and to see their particular stats individually and tallied as a team. Once you've entered them, look at your team report. So what you'll see is each person on the team, what their units were, their listing, their buying, their total, anything that was double-ended, and it'll total up their absolute solds, 38 and 14 million, and carry on with the next one. When it gets to the bottom, it will now calculate the team statistics so that you can see how many listings they had as a team, how many buying ends, how many double ends, and so on. It'll also give them any performances that are above the average for other teams in that database. In this case, this team's selling homes 76% faster than the average team there. That's pertinent information for this team to let their listers and their buyers know. Moving on to our next item, the Investors Tool. The Investors Tool is a way for you to let your investors know that whatever units they're investing in, when is the best time to buy or sell. First, you'll click on the Filter By and choose your item. In this case, we're going to do a type house. And let's select condos. You have an investor who's looking to buy a bulk of condos, and he wants to know when the best time to buy them. You'll click now on the percentage search button, and it will graph it out. So we can see that when the smallest percentage of solds of that type of unit happens, that's the best time to buy. So August is an awesome time to buy condos if you're an investor. They only represent 12% of all the types of homes sold. Makes sense. When that market's down, buy them up. When's the best time to sell a condo? That would be in April, when 15% of the solds were condos. So you can effectively tell your investors, no matter what they're looking for, when the best time is to buy or to sell. You can clear your function and start again, or simply click on your logo and you're back at the beginning. We're going to move on now to Reality Calculator. Reality Calculator is an interesting tool, especially for your agents. Sometimes you have a new agent who has really pie-in-the-sky hopes, and this will give them a dose of reality. So the first thing they need to do is answer these questions. What is your projected income for the next 12 months? Well, gee, I'd like to make $400,000 this year. What's the average price of a home you sell? You're going to enter all this information in, including their commission rate. Then you'll hit Calculate. And now it will calculate exactly what that agent needs to do to accomplish this. So, if an agent wants to make $400,000 in a year, and the average price that they sell on a home is $600,000, they will effectively need to sell 26.67 ends in the next 12 months. They will effectively need to sell at least 2, almost 3 units every month. When they get to the bottom, if you think, boy, I'm going to need to generate $307,000 every week to make my target, I don't think I can do that. If your answer is no, then you better go back and start at the beginning. So this is an effective tool for brokers to understand what their agents' hopes are and can they accomplish it. Now, the last few items talk about quarterly sales. Quarterly sales by the numbers, simply that. Shows you each quarter, how many sales happened, and so on. When a quarter isn't complete, it'll say not available because the quarter hasn't happened. The previous year did, but not the current year. you're able to see quarterly sales by numbers or dollars, however you want to look at it. And oddly enough, most brokers don't realize that the second quarter is usually your best quarter of every year. The final few items talk about offices. And it's similar to your performance icon that talked about the performance of agents. This now will talk about the performance of offices. So by the numbers, at that time in Chicago, we had 4,571 offices. 855 of those offices only did 1 unit in a year. Another 537 did 2 units. And that represented 11.75%. So when you add these totals together, 18.70 for the 855 and 11.75 for the 537, you get 30.45%. So, scrolling down here, we can see almost 50% of the offices are doing under 6 units. Interesting. And as you scroll down, you'll see absolutely by the numbers who is doing what as far as offices and numbers of units. The final item is offices by dollar values. Same information spread out by dollars. Interesting, isn't it? 18% of the offices there working at under 150,000 volume in a year. Boy, they're not making it. They're not surviving. And it'll show you all the way down the list the same information as the last chart, but this is dollar sales. Once you're finished, remember to clear your program, click your Reality logo, and you're back at the beginning of your program.